If you developed a cookie addiction or an obsession with your comfy couch while you were going through cancer treatment, don't be too hard on yourself. Of course, it's common to pick up bad habits while you're going through cancer treatment. Dealing with cancer isn't easy, to say the least. Very few people are able to keep up with their exercise routine or their healthy diet after they've been diagnosed with a potentially life-threatening illness. Not to mention trying to get to and from all your appointments, dealing with nasty treatment side effects, and managing all the stress that comes with it. But for a lot of people, once they finish treatment and start to feel better, their cancer diagnosis becomes an incentive to start making healthy diet and lifestyle changes. And I mean, that's amazing because whether it's eating more fruits and vegetables, exercising more, or trying to reduce the amount of stress in your life, even the simplest of changes can help to keep your cancer in remission. But what's most important is that you stick with these changes long term, and that is easier said than done. Although a lot of people do start to make healthy changes after they finish treatment, studies have shown that the majority of them tend to keep up their newfound habits only for an average of about 2 years post-treatment, and then they tend to revert back to their old ways and their old lifestyles afterwards. I mean, 2 years isn't bad considering at least 50% of people who start an exercise program drop out after only 6 months. But I know that you can do better than that. So in this video, I'm going to go over why it's so hard to stick with healthy changes long term and what you can do to change bad habits for good so that you can increase your chances of beating cancer or staying cancer free. One of the biggest reasons people fall off the wagon is because change is legit hard. Any behavior we're used to is easy, it's automatic. Our brain can do it on autopilot, so there's no thinking required. But trying to adopt a new behavior is like trying to get different parts of your brain to do different things it's not used to, so it's like a brain workout. For example, it's a lot harder to maintain a weight loss goal than actually achieve it. This is why people often reach their goal and then plateau or gain the weight back after a while. I don't know about you, but I've found myself stuck with a bad habit several times in my life and wondering why I can't get past it. Like drinking too much wine, late night snacking, or staying up late to watch Netflix even though I knew I'd regret it in the morning. So trust me when I say I'm well versed in how hard it can be to train yourself to make healthy changes. When we do something unhealthy that we know we shouldn't, it can lead us down a really slippery slope. We feel guilty and frustrated with ourselves for our choices, so we start to work hard to make better ones, and maybe we're successful for a while. Maybe we lose weight, feel better, and we're sure that this time our new and improved healthy habits are here to stay. But then life happens. We have questionable results on a diagnostic scan, or a big project at work had us ordering in pizza rather than buying a salad for lunch, and before we know it, we've slid right back into our old habits. It happens to the best of us when we're trying to cope with tough emotions or get through stressful periods. So going back to how your brain works when you're doing something new versus doing something you're used to, when you're trying to change a bad habit, what helps the most is to simplify it. Small changes are manageable, but trying to change all at once is usually way too overwhelming. And although this sounds really simple, this is what most people get wrong. As much as you may not want to, it's way more effective to make changes gradually and go easy on yourself. Too often people take an all or nothing approach and it makes them burn out and give up altogether. You say to yourself, well, I've already ruined my diet for the day by having that piece of cake at the office, so I might as well forget my plans to cook veggies tonight and order a pizza instead. If you can relate to this, try to start looking at each individual food choice you make during the day as one on its own. One poor choice doesn't have to snowball into a full day's worth of bad choices. Every meal is a new opportunity to eat better. Just like every day you wake up is a new opportunity to start exercising. But whatever your goal may be, do it with the mindset that it's not all or nothing, and it's going to happen gradually over the next few months or years, rather than just the next few weeks. If you can't do a 30-minute workout today because you're too tired, do 10 minutes instead. If you eat fast food for lunch, make up for it by having a veggie stir-fry for dinner. Habits, whether good or bad, are repeated patterns of behavior. So the more you do something like exercise or choose the healthier food option, the easier it becomes. They say that it takes about 4 to 6 weeks for a new habit to form, but honestly, I'd say for most people it takes longer than that. So don't be too hard on yourself if the first month or 2 or 4 are a struggle, especially after cancer. You've been through a lot, both physically and emotionally, so cut yourself some slack. Now, to change your habits and stick with them long term, I'm sorry to say, but you have to become more self-aware and take conscious control. And what this means is basically just becoming more aware of your choices and taking accountability for them. For example, if you're feeling snacky, ask yourself if you're actually hungry or if you're just bored or need some comfort food. If you really need an emotional snack, don't deny yourself food, just choose a healthy snack. like a fruit salad over a bowl of ice cream, for example, or air-popped popcorn over Doritos. They may not taste as good at first or be as satisfying, but the more you choose the healthier option, the more you train yourself to believe it is. I promise. I personally managed to overcome a strong sugar addiction by weaning myself off of it slowly, and now honestly, not only do I never crave sugar anymore, it makes me quite sick if I do eat it, which just goes to show how bad sugar is for us, but that's for another video. But with that being said, you don't have to stop eating everything you love. Life is all about balance. If you're eating healthy most of the time, you can certainly enjoy your tacos or fried chicken once in a while. In fact, the fastest way to fall back into bad dietary habits is by completely depriving yourself of what you love. So in other words, it's not about deprivation, it's about learning to love healthy food that will give you energy and nutrients rather than processed chemicals that can make you sick. Like ordering the grilled chicken over a bacon cheeseburger or a yogurt parfait rather than an ice cream sundae. The more your brain correlates eating healthy food with feeling good and having more energy, the easier it becomes to make them a permanent part of your life. Now I know I've been talking all about diet so far, but we can't leave out the exercise conundrum. As I mentioned earlier, most people quit their exercise program because they started exercising to achieve a certain goal, and once they did, they stop working out as often or they ease up on their workouts. But honestly, exercise is something we all need to be doing as much as we're capable of for the rest of our lives. As we age, we naturally lose muscle mass and bone density, especially as women after menopause, so it becomes more and more important to exercise, not only to keep up our strength and energy, but it also helps to improve our metabolism, sleep, and hormone levels. And most importantly, it prevents cancer and decreases your risk of recurrence by up to 60%. That's absolutely incredible. I had a patient tell me recently that she doesn't exercise for weight loss or energy. She exercises for her mental health. It's her outlet. It's her way of releasing stress after cancer and having time for herself. And this is so true because when we exercise, our brain releases feel-good endorphins, which is the best way to naturally relieve stress. As a cancer survivor, you may also be at a higher risk of developing heart disease if you had chemo or radiation therapy to the breast or chest. So if that's the case, exercising and getting your heart rate up often should be a non-negotiable. No matter how tough it may seem some days, sticking to a healthy diet and exercise routine after cancer is possible because you value your health and you want to beat cancer or keep it from coming back. So I'm going to give you 6 tricks that will make it easier for you to change any bad habits once and for all. Tip number 1, although maintaining a healthy weight is really important after cancer, you shouldn't be trying to eat healthier or exercise just to lose weight. These healthy choices are also benefiting you in a million other ways, so don't measure your success by the numbers on the scale. Notice when you have more energy, your digestion is better, or you're less bloated so your clothes fit more comfortably. These positive changes are signs that you're on the right track. Tip number 2, and this may be the most important one, but get enough sleep. You're way less likely to exercise or eat healthy when you're tired or irritable, right? Number 3, and this one's a little bit trickier, but try to figure out the underlying reason why your bad habit developed in the first place. This is the first step towards changing it. The second step is to notice when you're doing it and figure out what you can replace it with, something more positive. For example, maybe if you were feeling stressed or overwhelmed with cancer, you started baking or eating cookies every night to comfort yourself. So the next time you do this, try to pause for a second and think about why you're still doing it. Are you still stressed, or is it just become a routine? What can you eat every night as a healthier alternative instead? And if the underlying causes for your bad habits are things you can't fully control, maybe you're stressed because of work or a relationship with a loved one isn't going so well, this may require some brutal honesty with yourself to see what you can do to start working on a solution. Because until you identify what's out of alignment in your life and start working to fix it, then breaking bad habits will be harder to do, but still not impossible. Or maybe you're not able to overcome these problems on your own, which is totally acceptable. But if that's the case, who can you turn to for support? Friends, families, professionals, or even an online community? Sharing your goals and experiences with others who have been in your shoes can provide invaluable encouragement and keep you motivated. Tip number 4, change your environment. Stay away from places you know will cause problems for you. For example, don't sit in your favorite Mexican restaurant and wonder why you can't resist the nachos, or spend an evening on the couch watching TV and hoping not to snack. Instead, spend more time outside or try a restaurant with a healthier menu. And when you do watch a movie on the couch, plan what you're going to have as a healthier snack, or keep your hands busy by knitting or doing a puzzle or coloring. Also, obviously, it's completely normal to have food cravings. We're all human. But unfortunately, they're usually for unhealthy, ultra-processed food that contains sweeteners, trans fats, and other things that make them taste great and make them more tempting and addictive. Even having them in sight is enough to alter your brain chemistry to give in to them. So the best way to avoid being tempted by them is to keep them out of your house, period. On the other hand, keeping your fridge stocked with healthy whole foods is a great way to encourage yourself to eat nutritious foods more often. Tip number 5, set achievable goals, like the number of minutes you plan to walk or run this week, or the different vegetables you want to try to eat every night. And better yet, write these goals down. Writing down your plans will set your goals into action because it's like you're telling yourself that now you're mentally committed and serious. When you don't have a clear sense of purpose or structure, you're much less likely to follow through with your plans. But having a sense of structure can bring more purpose into your life because you have goals to achieve and a schedule to follow. Also, be realistic when setting these goals. What are you actually capable of given the amount of energy you have that day? And what will you realistically want to do rather than completely dread doing? What are things that make you feel fulfilled? Tip number 6, it's also important to plan how you're going to stick to your goals. I personally find that planning out all of my meals and snacks for the week is a game changer. It prevents me from making impulsive buys at the grocery store and ensures that I have healthy options readily available for when I'm home late and starving. And for the times when life happens, plan out what you're going to do when you find yourself sliding back into bad habits. There will always be birthday cakes, social gatherings, and cravings, so how will you respond to them? Are you able to savor a smaller portion of your favorite food and get back on track with healthier choices the next day? You know yourself best, but remember, it's all about progress, not perfection. You may also find it helpful to have an accountability partner, somebody to exercise with, or a friend or family member to help keep you on track with your goals. I know that you can build healthier habits that you'll stick with long term if you allow them to empower you to live your best life. I hope you found this video helpful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.